Hey everybody, I'm Miguel Sanchez, and welcome to episode 24 of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. And so, we have finally entered the 1980s. That's right, we have finally entered the 1980s once and for all with this next movie. And boy, we're just getting closer, my friends. We are about to enter somewhere in between that you've never heard of before, and that's going to be happening right here on Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. So guys, I'm so hyped up for this. Well, so be prepared for what you're ready to see today. It's gonna be amazing, a blast. It's out of this world. So get ready, guys. You're about to be two animal friends who can share friendships forever. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Welcome to episode 24. Today we're taking a look at The Fox and the Hound. One of the most iconic movies of all time, and I can't wait to dive right into it. I've seen the movie before. Now I'm going to give you a quick brief history about it right here on today's episode of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. And for those who haven't seen episode 23, we take a look at The Rescuers. So this should be pretty good. Go check out the video right now. The link is on the top recorded screen, so go watch the video right now. Otherwise, the guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy what we're about to see today. It's go time. Are you ready? Then let's begin. So, about the movie. A long one, so get ready, guys. Here we go. The Fox and the Hound is a 1981 American animated buddy drama film produced by Walt Disney Productions and loosely based on the 1967 novel of the same name by Daniel P. Mannix, the 24th animated feature film, although it was listed as number 20 in the Canada in the original release. The film was advertised as the 20th in the Disney canon prior to its release, and tells the story of the unlikely friendship between a red fox named Todd and a hound dog named Copper. The two friends struggle to preserve their friendship despite their emerging instincts and their surrounding social pressures demanding them to be adversaries as they are enemies by nature. The film was directed by Ted Berman, Richard Rich, and Art Stevens, marking the directorial debuts of Berman and Rich. It was produced by Ron Miller, Wolfgang Reitman, and Art Stevens. The ensemble voice cast consists of Mickey Rooney and Kurt Russell as Todd and Copper, respectively, with Pearl Bailey, Jack Albertson, Sandy Duncan, Jeanette Nolan, Pat Buttrin, John Fiedler, John McIntyre, Dick Bacallian, Paul Winchell, Keith Mitchell, and Corey Feldman provide the voices of other characters of the film. Mitchell and Feldman, in particular, voiced the young Todd and the young Copper. The instrumental musical score to the film was composed and conducted by Buddy Baker, with Walter Sheets performing the orchestration. Walt Disney Productions first obtained the film rights to the novel by Daniel P. Mannix in 1967. However, actual development on the film would not occur until spring 1977, around the same time as the release of The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh on March 11th, 1977, and just before the release of The Rescuers on June 22nd, 1977. Oh boy, this should not be good. Both of them have been discussed on past episodes. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was on episode 22, The Rescuers was on episode 23, that was a previous episode, so you have seen it, watch it now. I know. The Fox and the Hound marked the last involvement of the remaining members of Disney's Nine Old Men, which included Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson. Ultimately, the film was handed over to a new generation of animators following the retirement of the old animators, though the old animators have involvement in early development of the film. As such, it was the first film for future directors including Tim Burton, Brad Bird, and John Lasseter. During production, the film's release was delayed over 6 months following the abrupt departure of Don Bluth and his team of animators. Further concerns were raised over the handling of the scene in which Chief is hit by a train, which was controversially changed from his death into a non-fatal injury, by which he merely suffers a broken leg. Oh boy, no good. The Fox and the Hound was released to theaters on July 10th, 1981 by Buena Vista Distribution. The film was a financial success, becoming the 14th highest-grossing film of the year and earning $39.9 million in the United States. However, it initially received mixed reviews from critics, who praised the animation and voice acting of the film, but believed that the film was not groundbreaking enough. Over time, however, the film became known as an underrated classic, and it was nominated for 3 awards, of which it won 1. At the time of its release, it was the most expensive animated film produced to date, costing $12 billion. It was released to theaters on March 12th, on March 25th, 1988. An intermediate follow-up, The Fox and the Hound 2, was released directly to DVD on December 12th, 2006. Though, whew, that was a long information, my friends. Took about 4 minutes to get through this. We have to move on to stats here. Directed by Ted Berman, Richard Rich, and Art Stevens. Produced by Ron Miller, Wolfgang Reitherman, and Art Stevens. Story by Larry Clemens, Ted Berman, David Meitner, Peter Young, Bernie Matheson, Steve Hewlett, Eric Kress, and Vance Gary. Based on The Fox and the Hound by Daniel P. Mannix, starring Mickey Rooney, Kurt Russell, Pearl Bailey, Jack Albertson, Sandy Duncan, Jeanine Nolan, Pat Buttram, John Fiedler, John McIntyre, Dick Bacallion, Paul Winchell, Keith Mitchell, and Corey Feldman. Music by Buddy Baker. Edited by James Moulton, Jim Crawford. Production and Jim Clifford. Production company is Walt Disney Productions. Distributed by Weta Vista Distribution. Release date July 10th, 1981. Running time is 63 minutes. Country United States. Language is English. Budget $12 million. Box office $63.5 million. That's a lot of money. But you get the point. That's all there is to it. Move on to the plot. Let's get right to it. After a young red fox is orphaned, Big Mama the owl and her friends Dickie the finch and Boomer the woodpecker arrange for him to be adopted by a kindly farmer, Widow Tweed, who names him Todd. Meanwhile, her neighbor Amos Slade brings home a young hound puppy named Copper and introduces him to his hunting dog Chief. One day, Todd and Copper met and become best friends, pledging eternal friendship. Amos grows frustrated at Copper for constantly wandering off to play and places him on a leash. While playing with Copper outside his barrel, Todd awakens Chief. Amos and Chief chase Todd until they are stopped by Tweed. After an argument, Amos threatens to kill Todd if he trespasses on his farm again. Hunting season comes, and Amos takes his dogs into the wilderness for the interim. Meanwhile, Big Mama, Dinky, and Boomer attempt to explain to Todd that Copper will become his enemy. However, Todd naively insists that he and Copper will remain friends forever. The following spring, Todd and Copper reach adulthood. Copper returns as an expert hunting dog who is expected to track down foxes. During the night, Todd sneaks over to visit Copper. Their conversation awakens Chief, who alerts Amos. A chase ensues, and Copper catches Todd, but lets Todd go while diverting Amos. Chief catches Todd as he attempts an escape on a railroad track, but an oncoming train strikes Chief, resulting him in falling into the river below and breaking his leg. Enraged by this, Copper and Amos blame Todd for the accident and vow vengeance. Realizing Todd is no longer safe with her, Tweed leaves him at a game reserve. After a disastrous night on his own in the woods, Big Mama introduces Todd to Vixie, a female fox who helps Todd adapt to life in the forest. Meanwhile, Amos and Copper trespass into the reserve and hunt the two foxes. The chase climaxes when Amos and Copper inadvertently provoke an attack from a large savage bear. Amos trips and falls into one of his own traps, dropping his gun slightly out of reach. Copper fights the bear, but is almost killed by the vicious animal. Todd battles the bear until they both fall down a waterfall. As Copper approaches Todd as he lies in the lake below, Amos appears, ready to shoot Todd. Copper positions himself in front of Todd to prevent Amos from shooting him. Refusing to move away, Amos lowers his gun and leaves with Copper. Todd and Copper share one last smile before parting. At home, Tweed nurses Amos back to health while the dogs rest. Copper, before going to sleep, smiles as he remembers the day when he first met Todd. On a hill, Vixie joins Todd as they look down on Todd's former home, and Copper's. Man, that was a lot of information, but you get the point. We do a lot of stats here. Not much here, but we got to it. Mickey Rooney as Todd, Kurt Russell as Copper, Pearl Bailey as Big Mama, Jack Albertson as Amos Slade, Sandy Duncan as Vixie, Jeanine Nolan as Widow Tweed, Pat Buttram as Chief, John Fiedler as the Porcupine, John McIntyre as the Badger, Dick Bacallion as Dickie, Paul Winchell as Boomer, Keith Mitchell as Young Todd, Corey Feldman as Young Copper, and Jack Angel as Squeak. So yeah, that's it. We take a look at production. We move on to the production, starting with development. It's another long one. In May 1967, shortly before the Fox and the Hound won the Dutton Animal Book Award, it was reported that Walt Disney Productions had obtained the film rights to the novel. In spring 1977, development began on the project after Wolfgang Reitherman had read the original novel and decided that it would make for a good animated feature, as one of his sons had once owned a pet fox years before. The title was originally reported as The Fox and the Hounds, but the filmmakers dropped the plural as the story began to focus more and more on the two leads. Reitherman was the film's original director, along with Art Stevens as co-director. The power struggle between the two directors and co-producer Ron Miller broke out over key sections of the film, with Miller supporting the younger Stevens. Miller instructed Reitherman to surrender reins over to the junior personnel, but Reitherman resisted due to a lack of trust in the young animators. In an earlier version of the film, Chief was slated to die as he did in the novel. However, the scene was modified to have Chief survive with a cast on his back paw. Animator Ron Clements, who had briefly transitioned into the story department, protested that Chief has to die. The picture doesn't work if he just breaks his leg. Copper doesn't have motivation to hate the fox. Likewise, younger members of the story team pledged with Stevens to have Chief killed. Stevens countered that, "Geez, we never killed a man, but we never killed a main character in a Disney film, and we're not starting now!" The younger crew members took the problem to upper management, who would also back Stevens. Ollie Johnson's text animation of Chief stomping around the house with his leg in a cast was eventually kept, and Randy Cartwright reanimated the scene where Copper fights Chief's body and had him animate Chief's eyes opening and closing so the audience knew that he was not dead. Another fight erupted when Reitherman, in thinking the film lacked a strong second act, decided to add a musical sequence of two swooping cranes, voiced by Phil Harris and Cairo, who would sing a silly song titled "Scooby Dooby Dooby Doo, Let Your Body Turn to Goo" to Todd after he was dropped in the fourth. Cairo had recorded the song and voice tracks which were storyboarded, and live action reference footage was shot of her in a sweaty pink leotard. However, the scene was strongly disliked by studio personnel, who felt the song was a distraction from the main plot, with Stevens stating, "We can't let that sequence in the movie." No. Yes. We can't let that sequence in the movie. It's totally out of place. Stevens notified studio management after many story conferences. The scene was removed. Reitherman later walked into Stevens' office, slumped in a chair, and said, "I don't know, Art, maybe this is a young man's medium." He later moved on to undeveloped projects such as Catfish Bend, and died in a car accident in 1985. Oh no, poor Wolfgang Reitherman. We're gonna miss you, my friend. Move on to the insane with production. We go to animation. By late 1978, Frank Thomas, Ollie Johnson, and Cliff Norberg had completed their animation. Thomas had animated scenes of Todd and Copper using dialogue. Larry Clemens had written and recorded with the child actors. This project would mark the last film to have involvement of Disney's animal men who retired early during production. Yet, animation was turned over to the next generation of directors and animators, which included John Lasseter, John Musker, Ron Clements, Glenn Keane, Tim Burton, Brad Bird, Harry Selick, Chris Buck, Mike Gabriel, and Mark Dindal, all of whom would finalize the animation and complete the film's production. These animators have moved through the in-house animation training program and would play an important role in the Disney Renaissance of the 1980s and 1990s, and we will get to that in future episodes of the series, so stay tuned for them when they come out. However, the transition between the old guard and the new resulted in arguments over how to handle the film. Reitherman had his own ideas on the designs and layouts that should be used, but the newer team backed Stevens. Animator Don Bluth animated several scenes, including of Widow Tweed milking her cow, Abigail, while his team worked on the rest of the sequence. And when Tweed fires at Amos Slade's automobile, Nevertheless, Bluth and the new animators felt that Riley the Man was too stern and out of touch. And on his 42nd birthday, September 13th, 1979, Bluth, along with Gary Goldman and John Pomeroy, entered Ron Miller's office, and they turned in their resignations. Soon after, 13 more animators followed suit in turning in their resignations. Though Bluth and his team had animated the substantial scenes, they asked not to receive screen credit. But with no period. No, slight little error, but that's okay. But those animators now gone, Miller ordered all the resigning animators off their studio lot by noon of that same day, and would later push the release of The Fox and the Hound from Christmas 1980 to summer 1981. New animators were hired to promote to fill the ranks. To compensate for the lack of experience of the new animators, much of the quality control would rely upon a corps of veteran assistant animators. 4 years after the production started, the film was finished with approximately 360,000 drawings, 110,000 paint cells, and 1,100 painted backgrounds, with making up the finished product. A total of 180 people, including 24 animators, worked on the film. By the way, 1,100, that's the number of subscribers that I'm going to be reaching. So you haven't subscribed yet, please go do so right now, because we're on the road to 1,100 subscribers. Please do it right now. Staying with production, we go to casting. Early into production, the principal characters such as young Todd and Copper, Big Mama, and Albus Slade have already been cast. The supporting characters were cast by Disney voice regulars, Clay Butcher for Chief, Paul Winchell for Boomer, and Mickey Rooney, who had just finished filming the Pete's Dragon for Adult Todd. Jeanette Nolan was the second choice for Widow Tweed after Helen Hayes turned down the part. The last role to be cast was for Del Copper. Jackie Cooper had auditioned for the role, but left the project when he demanded more money than the studio was willing to pay. While filming the Elvis television film, former Disney child actor Kurt Russell was cast following a reading that had impressed the filmmakers, and completed his dialogue in 2 recording sections. Whew, man, that's a lot of fun. So we take a look at the soundtrack. The soundtrack for the film was released in 1981 by Disneyland Records. It contains songs written by Stan Fiedel, Jim Stanford, and Jeffrey Patch. We got, number type writers and performers. Let's get started. Number 1, Best of Friends, written by Stan Fiedel, performed by Pearl Bailey. Number 2, Lack of Education, written by James Stanford, performed by Pearl Bailey. Number 3, A Hunted Man, written by Jim Stanford, performed by Jack Albertson. Number 4, Appreciate the Lady, written by Jim Stanford, performed by Pearl Bailey. And number 5, Goodbye May Seem Forever, written by Jeffrey Patch, performed by Jeanette Nolan and the chorus. Woo! That's it. On to release for home media. The Fox and the Hound was first released on VHS on March 4th, 1994, as the last entry in the Walt Disney Classics line. This release was placed into moratorium on April 30th, 1995. On May 2nd, 2000, it was released on Region 1 DVD for the first time as part of the Walt Disney Gold Classics collection line, along with a simultaneous VHS reissue as part of the same video line on the same day. This edition went to moratorium in January 2006. Soon after, a 25th anniversary special edition DVD was released on October 10th, 2016. The Fox and the Hound was released on Blu-ray on August 9th, 2011, commemorating the film's 30th anniversary as part of the 3-disc Blu-ray/DVD combo pack that was bundled as a 2-movie collection edition, featuring The Fox and the Hound 2 on the same Blu-ray disc, as well as separate DVD versions of both films, featuring the new digital restoration. The Blu-ray transfer presents the film for the first time in 1.66 by 1 widescreen, and also features 5.1 DTS HD master audio. The Fox and the Hound 2 is presented in 1.78 by 1 widescreen and features the same sound as the first film. A DVD-only edition of the 2-movie collection, again featuring both films on separate discs, was also released on the same day. Oh yeah. This is a lot of fun. And move on to the reception, starting with critical reaction. Contemporary reviews. Let's start with contemporary reviews. Vincent Canby of the New York Times claimed that the film breaks no new ground whatsoever, while describing it as a pretty relentlessly cheery, old-fashioned sort of Disney cartoon feature, chock full of bouncy songs of an upbeatness that is stickier than crazy glue and played by animals more anthropomorphic than humans that occasionally appear. He further commented that the film is rather overstuffed with whimsy and folksy dialogue. It also possesses the climax that could very well scare the daylights out of the smaller tykes in the audience, though all ends well. Parents who don't relish chaperoning their tykes to see the movie, but find they must anyway, can take heart in the knowledge that the running time is 83 minutes. That's about as short as you can get these days. Oh no, a little bit of an asterisk, a little bit a bracket here, forgot to take it off, but that's okay. Move on. Sheila Benson of the Los Angeles Times praised the animation, but criticized for playing it too safe. She acknowledged that the writers were protecting us from important stuff, from rage, from pain, from loss, by these lies, done for our own good. Of course, they also limit the growth the movie is possible. David Ensign of Newsweek stated that adults may wince at some of the sticky, sweet songs, but the movie is not intended for grown-ups. Richard Corliss of Time praised the film for an intelligent story about prejudice. He argued that the film shows that biased attitudes can poison even the deepest relationships, and the film's bittersweet ending delivers a powerful and important moral message to audiences. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times also praised the film, saying that for all of its familiar qualities, this movie marks something of a departure for the Disney studio, and its movement is in an interesting direction. The Fox and the Hound is one of those relatively rare Disney animated features that contains a useful lesson for younger audiences. It's not just cute animals and frightening adventures and a happy ending. It's also a rather thoughtful meditation on how society determines our behavior. Woo! Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I gotta say, it's amazing. Staying with reception, staying with critical reaction, we go to retrospective reviews. Oh boy, another long one, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna get longer, so here we go, guys. TV Guide gave the film 4 out of 5 stars, saying that the animation here is better than average. Veteran Disney animators Wolfgang Reitherman and Art Stevens surprised the talents of a new crop of artists that developed during a 10-year program at the studio, though not quite up to the quality of Disney Studios in its heyday. Still, the film has a lot of heavy heart and is wonderful entertainment for both kids and their parents. Listen for a number of favorites among the voices. Michael Scheinfeld of Common Sense Media gave the film's quality a rating of 4 out of 5 stars, stating that the film develops into a thoughtful examination of friendship and includes some mature themes, especially loss. I know, this is bad. In the animated movie guide, Jerry Beck considered the film average, though he praises the voice work appropriately as Big Mama and the extreme dedication to detail shown by animator Glenn Keane in crafting the fight scene between Copper, Todd, and the bear. In his book, The Disney Films, Leonard Maltin also notes that the fight scene between Copper, Todd, and the bear received great praise in the animation world. However, Maltin felt the film relied too much on formula cuteness, formula comedy relief, and even formula characterizations. Overall, he considered the film charming, stating that it is warm and brimming with personal characters, and that it approaches the old Disney magic at times. Craig Butler from All Movie Guide stated that the film was a warm and amusing, if slightly dull, entry in the Disney animated canon. He also called it conventional and generally predictable with problems in pacing. However, he praised the film's climax and animation as well as the ending. His final remark is that two of the directors, Richard Rich and Ted Berman, would next direct the Black Cauldron, a less successful but more ambitious project. And that is what I'm going to be talking about in the next episode, guys. So stay tuned for it. That'll be on the next episode, episode 25. The Black Cauldron it's coming soon, so stay tuned for it. But back to the video. Rob Humanick of Slant Magazine gave the film 3.5 out of 5 stars, noting that it was the transition point between the remaining original animators, since Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, to new generations, saying that the results called the best in qualities of both groups, and that the result is a work of both learned, assured poise and triumphant freshman determination, not far away in style quality from other benchmark status works. Yeah, like the aforementioned Snow White or Pixar's Toy Story. Yes, I already talked about Snow White in the first episode of the series, and I'll be doing Toy Story, a brand new movie history series, Movie History Pixar Animation Studios. That'll be coming your way very, very soon. Stay tuned for it. I'll let you know the exact release date for Movie History Pixar Animation Studios, so stay tuned for it. Moving on, R.L. Sheffer of IGN wrote a rather mixed review, claiming that the film is just not as impressive as Disney's early work or their late 80s/early 90s pictures. James Kendrick of Q Network Film Desk stated that the film is not one of the studio's best efforts, but nonetheless it remains a fascinating product of an era of upheaval, as well as a meaningful statement about the nature of prejudice. Peter Kenevans of Groucho Reviews stated that the film is sweet but a bit dull. I know. Nothing that overall. The picture is good-hearted and colorful, with an ending that carries a nice touch of ambiguity about the tussle of nature and nurture. John J. Puccio of movie Metropolis claimed that the film is very sweet and no doubt about a delight for children, but I found it quite slow and tedious. The review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reported that the film received a 70% approval rating with an average rating of 6.48 out of 10 based on 27 reviews. The website's consensus states that The Fox and the Hound is a likable, jarring, unassuming effort that manages to transcend its thin, predictable plot. Okay, I know. Metacritic gave the film a score of 65 out of based on 15 reviews, indicating generally favorable reviews. Man, I love it. Moving on to the box office. Yeah, stay with reception. We go to box office. Its original release, The Fox and the Hound, grossed $39.9 million in domestic grosses, the highest for an animated film at the time from its initial release. Its distributor rentals were reported to be $14.2 million, while its international rentals totaled $43 million. The film was re-released theatrically on March 25th, 1988, where it grossed $23.5 million. The Fox and the Hound had a lifetime gross of $63.5 million across its original release and reissue. I know. Going to accolades, the film was awarded a Golden Screen Award, German Golden Award, in 1982. And the same year, it was also nominated for a Young Artist Award at the Saturn Award for Best Fantasy Film. So the year, all together from 1982, in the ninth. At the Night Saturn Awards, they were nominated for Best Fantasy Film, and they have won the 1982 Golden Screen Award, so that's something. And they were also nominated at the 5th Youth in Film Awards for Best Motion Picture for Fantasy or Comedy and for Family Enjoyment. So yeah, that is it, my friends. Moving on to the comic adaptations. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Looks like we got a little bit of error. But yeah, we got adaptations. Forgot to put in the letter T here, but yeah, that's okay. We got, as well as adaptations of the film itself, comic strips featuring the characters also appeared in stories unconnected to the film. Examples include The Lost Fawn, in which Copper uses his sense of smell to help Todd find a fawn who has gone astray. The Chase, which Copper must safeguard a sleepwalking chief, and Feathered Friends, in which the birds, Jinky and Boomer, must go to desperate lengths to save one of Widow Tweed's chickens from a wolf. The comic adaptation of the film the film, drawn by Richard Moore. We reached the 30-minute mark, so get ready, guys. Was published in newspapers as part of Disney's treasury of classic tales. The comic book titled The Fox and the Hound followed with new adventures of the characters. Since 1981 and up to 2007, a few Fox and the Hound Disney Comics stories were produced in Italy, Netherlands, Brazil, France, and the United States. Finally, for the follow-up, an intermediate follow-up, The Fox and the Hound 2, was released directly to DVD on December 12, 2006. The follow-up takes place during the youth of Todd and Copper, before the events of the later half of the first film. The storyline of the follow-up involves Copper being tempted to join a band of singing stray dogs, called the Singing Strays, thus threatening his friendship with Copper. Thus threatening his friendship with Todd. The follow-up was critically panned, with critics calling it a pale imitation of his predecessor. Whatever. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of The Fox and the Hound, ladies and gentlemen. Final thoughts and ready for the movie. If there's one thing you gotta say about The Fox and the Hound, no worries. I gotta tell you, it's definitely one of the best movies of all time. Despite a little bit of errors here, yes, I only found 2 slight errors here. Yeah, I found 2 slight errors in the movie, in the video, but that's okay. There will not be another one in the next episode. But either way, I like this movie so much. It's definitely one of the best. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm rating The Fox and the Hound with a score of 8 out of 10. Great! I love it. That was a great movie for everyone to enjoy. Nothing else to worry about here, bar none. I love The Fox and the Hound so much. That's definitely one of the best. But yeah, that's only my personal conservative opinion. Feel free to agree or disagree with your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. However, all these must come to an end. So yeah, that's it, guys. We're done. Thank you for watching an episode of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. Woo! This episode is over. But there's still plenty more, but we still have to cover it. But still a whole lot more movies to cover in the series. So stay tuned for that. And so that means, that means we're gonna be doing the Moshi. Yeah, that means I'm gonna start working on the Moshi Match League Season 1, Day 24. It'll be coming your way very, very soon, so do not miss it, my friends. We're gonna have done 10-pack matches waiting for you, so please stay tuned for it coming soon. And we'll see you later today for Moshi Monsters Biography, episode 476, as we take a look at Woodsworth, the globe-headed graduate. Another Moshi to take a look at from the Puzzly set, so stay tuned for it. Otherwise, guys, you have a great rest of the day. Thank you all for watching today. I'm Miguel Sanchez, you be yourself, and I will see you next time on Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. Join me next time for episode 25, as we take a look at the Black Cauldron. Yes, that's right, the first movie to feature the Walt Disney Pictures logo. Yeah, the iconic Walt Disney Pictures logo, one of their old logos, with the castle. So this is going to be amazing. So be on the lookout for that video coming your way very soon. It's going to be amazing. So be on the lookout for that. I promise you, it's going to be a blast. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon for episode 25 as we take a look at the Black Cauldron. Until then, because essentially, please remember to leave a like, share this video with your friends, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also, turn on notifications to the best new video. Please subscribe with notifications. Turn on to our best new video from me as we're on the road to 1,100 subscribers. Thank you for watching. And as always, I'll see you all next time for another edition of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. I'm Miguel Sanchez, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see how Moshi Monsters probably did on today. God bless, happy gaming, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, favorite, subscribe. I'll see you in another video. Laters!